One pain point you're solving, right, is comp plans aren't transparent. The reps don't understand what they're earning. This gives that transparency to the rep, which is great for rep retention and overall engagement. But what I actually find more powerful for an ops leader or a sales leader is how the comp plan is driving the seller to change her behavior. So what we do is we actually sync to your pipeline. And what a rep can do is see, okay, this Liberty Bankshares deal is a multi-year deal, but it's also outbound. And so I can click on this deal and say, okay, if I were to close this deal, I'd make a 19.5% commission rate. And so, wow, I can make so much money on this deal because it's both, I'm at 12.5% and it's multi-year and it's outbound. And what this has me doing is it has me comparing what I'm going to earn on this deal versus other deals in my pipeline. So, I can earn $3,500 in this deal, but the Mitsubishi deal, for example, I can only earn 1450 on, right? And so the comp plan is telling me, hey, go spend your time closing more of these multi-year outbound deals, because even if they're the same size as another deal, this deal is better for the business, and so paying me more money. And your reps, it's kind of fun. They think they're beating the plan, right? Oh wow, you're paying me a 22% commission rate. It's like, yeah, I'm paying you a 22% commission rate because you signed a 3-year ICP self-set deal, which is incredible for the business. So I'm gladly paying you a 22% rate.
Yeah. So, quick question on that one, because you said there's the big component of that approach is that the sellers, they feel like they're hitting the quota, they're going beyond the targets. So how's this playing out for the company? How you think the practitioners like you, me, and others in the revenue operations should guide the sales and marketing organizations on that front? I mean, there are different schools, right? It really depends on the size of the company, but I want to hear your take on how to do the math behind, right? Because in the end, anything or everything that we do in the company ends up in the P&L balance sheet or
Sure.
cash flow, right?
The first thing you have to do is understand the shape of your revenue today. So, what percentage of your revenues in month to month contracts, annual contracts, multi year contracts, and where do you want that to get to? And how much money would you pay for the shape of that revenue to change? Let's say, quota path 4 years ago, 70% of revenue was in month to month contracts, 25% annual, 5% multi year. Over the course of the past 3 years, we've shifted to virtually 100% of our revenue in 2-year contracts. Our new business team only sell 2-year contracts at this point, and we've made that fundamental shift using our comp plan. And so what we did is we said, okay, how much from a gross revenue retention perspective, what is the value to me of moving that revenue in the shape of that revenue? And how do I pass that value on to the rep? So when we first started this exercise, we actually used to pay basically almost 2x the commission rate for a multi-year deal versus a single year deal. And you might say, wow, that's crazy. But if you actually look at the commission rate as a function of total contract value, you're paying a lower commission rate. So if let's say your base rate's 10%, and for a multi-year deal, they get 18%. Well, the truth is you're only paying 9% on total contract value versus 10% on new business. But the rep is making a lot more money and they're seeing that big lift. So the first thing to do is model the shape of the revenue that you're looking for, model how valuable that is to you, and pass that value on to the rep to drive them to change behavior. Now, the problem is if you do this in Excel, the rep might not in real time be thinking, oh, what happens if I make this a 2-year deal? But if they see the pipeline in quota path and change it, what happens is it becomes a 2-year deal. That changes their behavior and drives incremental revenue. Now, if you jack up the rates and nothing changes, then you have a real problem of enablement or training or some other thing you got to work on.